Guangzhou, an economic powerhouse and South China's largest metropolis. But the city is under threat from its own success.
他们做这些再生塑料的一个问题呢，最大的其实就是污染环境。
Rampant urban growth and over-industrialisation have led to severe pollution, while the city buckles under the weight of providing power for over 40 million inhabitants.
广州当地现在这个电力情况实际上，还是比较紧张的。
To solve this energy crisis, city planners seek bold measures and attempt building one of the world's greenest skyscrapers and constructing water recycling plants deep underground. But will it be enough to ensure the future of this boomtown? Asia is booming. Its population nearly quadrupled within a century. These boomtowns are fueled by more than human or natural resources. Radical innovations are making them livable and sustainable. But the challenge of achieving these innovations can be tough, and the answers are never straightforward. This is Asianopolis, a city of the future that is home to millions of people. By the 25th century, all cities will be like living organisms, instinctively harnessing the power of the elements for their every need. In this future city, the basic building is the eco-tree scraper, a massive plant-like structure that can tap on the power of the wind and the sun from any direction. It's shaped with contours that channel wind to turbines located within the building, as well as solar panels that can morph their positions in response to sunlight. Unique structural designs maximize natural air currents to provide total climate control for thousands of residents. Although solar and wind power were already developed in the 20th century, it was the growing impact of global warming that forced engineers to radically rethink how they could integrate these technologies with sustainable climate control. Guangzhou, a booming port city in southern China. Over the last 30 years, the city has transformed itself into a major manufacturing and trading hub, following economic reforms across China. But its success has come at a cost. Power shortages cripple the city as demand for electricity soars during the hot and humid months of summer.
广州当地现在这个电力情况实际上，还是比较紧张的。发展必须要有电，那么这样的话，可能就会造成发展它的这个电力的供应稍微滞后了这个城市的发展。
The situation is aggravated by the fact that Guangzhou is also home to hundreds of power-hungry skyscrapers. A solution had to be found, and fast. American architectural firm Skidmore, Owings & Merrill partnered with the Guangzhou Design Institute to tackle the problem.
这个最大的区别呢，在于它的这个设计的出发点是不同的。 就是实际上就是技术为先导和解决这个环境问题，然后作为这个出发点。
The result, the Pearl River Tower, a radical building that is part skyscraper, part power generator, and all green. The 71-story Pearl River Tower consumes nearly 60% less energy than a traditional skyscraper, and boasts an array of features to harness the power of the elements. At the core of the design are a series of wind turbines built into the very heart of this 310-meter-tall building. But incorporating wind turbines into an urban landscape is no easy feat. In a city as densely built as Guangzhou, wind flow is obstructed by the amount of skyscrapers dominating the landscape. To compound the problem, the city has a highest average wind speed of only 8 kilometers an hour, the equivalent of a gentle breeze by the beach. the winds are not strong enough to drive a traditional wind turbine, much less power a skyscraper. The designers hit on a solution. They decided to employ vertical axis wind turbines. Like a weather vane, these turbines are omnidirectional and require less wind to operate. To integrate the turbines into the Pearl River Tower, designers created 4 large funnel-shaped openings. These openings channel wind into the turbines at maximum speed to increase their efficiency. Like expressways, they also allow prevailing winds to pass through the structure, reducing wind load on the building.
我们是从什么样的一个例子得到启发？实际上是相当于就是我们这个赛车。我们比如说我们看到的那些法拉利的赛车啊，它的吸气口。那么这个吸气口呢，实际上它也是要尽量多的空气进来的。那么我们是从这一点得到一个启发。
Having harnessed the wind, the designers turned their attention to the power of the sun. Photovoltaic cells were integrated into the building's mechanized sunshade system to capture sunlight from both the building's eastern and western facades. The Pearl River Tower's solar and wind turbine systems generate over 300,000 kilowatt hours of power. But this is not enough to power the enormous skyscraper during the searing heat of summer. With temperatures rising to almost 40 degrees Celsius during the hottest months of July and August, the energy needed to cool the building using conventional methods would be far too demanding. To tackle the problem, the team designed a unique radiant cooling system in place of power-hungry air conditioners. Cold water is pumped through perimeter beams, lining the ceilings to cool the interior, while a raised access floor provides ventilation using fresh air cooled by the chilled water system.
可以看到呢，就说是在天花上面呢，就说是我们是有这个灯光，同时呢，弧形的天花也是我们的空调的冷辐射板。下面呢，这里呢就是我们的这个智能型的架空地板。架空地板里面呢，有智能的管线，电脑的这个各种管线，那还有我们的这个新风管，也可以看到我们的这个新风是从地面送出，那么冷量是从上面传递下来的。
With these final touches, the Pearl River Tower was unveiled to the world in 2010 and now stands as the world's most energy-efficient skyscraper. The Pearl River Tower has redefined the blueprint for a sustainable urban scape and set a benchmark for a green boomtown of the future that exists harmoniously with nature. In the future, the world has perfected the art of managing resources as populations boom beyond what could previously be imagined. Nothing goes to waste as every single object is recycled. One of the most reused materials is plastic, a synthetic moldable solid first developed in the 19th century. To conserve the precious material, every household has their own portable unit that recycles all their unwanted appliances and gadgets. But back in the 21st century, the world was still grappling with the means of recycling this versatile polymer.
Today, the world consumes over 280 million tons of plastic each and every year. And to put that in perspective, on a volume basis, we actually use more plastics each and every year than steel around the world. The difficulty with that is that only about 10% of the plastics we use are reused, whereas with steel, over 90%. The plastics are actually more valuable than steel on a price per weight basis.
Guangzhou is China's third largest port for waste plastic imports. But without an efficient way of recycling the material, the city has no way of tapping into this lucrative gold mine, even as demand for plastic soars with Guangzhou's booming industries. The Guangzhou Iron and Steel Enterprises Group and US plastic recycling pioneers MBA Polymers partnered to take up the challenge. They set up a co-venture to provide a sustainable method of recycling waste plastic into supplies for high-tech products. Their project, a recycling plant with the capacity to process over 40,000 tons of scrap plastic in a year.
Many of our customers, most of the electronics manufacturers in the world, are located within an hour radius of Guangzhou, China. So we're in the hotbed of electronics manufacturing in the world.
Plastic recycling from waste electronics, however, is a complex and energy-consuming process. There are 7 different categories of plastics. Like unique individuals, each plastic type has its own character makeup and melts at different temperature points. If the plastics are not sorted correctly, the recycled product is in danger of contamination, making it unusable. The engineers devised a groundbreaking solution: an automated sorting device.
其实里面的这个他们 NBA 的这个专有的这个技术呢，其实是通过一种纯物理的方式，把几种关键的塑料，因为这几种关键塑料它是不能通过一般意义上的一个比重的分离开来，因为它这几种塑料的它的比重都是有重合的，然后它是通过一个专有的技术，用特殊的方法就直接把它们分开，里面也没有用到任何一些化学溶剂啊等等。 是完全一个物理的过程。
After the sorting process, each type of plastic waste is recycled into pellets that will be used as raw products for a variety of materials. But even with an effective means of reclaiming waste plastic, the process still poses a risk for the environment. For the polymer to be recycled, it has to be melted down, resulting in toxic fumes. Waste byproducts from plastic recycling also present a dumping hazard. The problem has become rampant in Guangzhou, where there are an estimated 400,000 recycling companies, many of whom are poorly regulated.
他们做这些再生塑料的一个问题呢，最大的其实就是污染环境，因为他们会用各种种类的清洗的方式清洗这个塑料，然后清洗完的这些污染物啊，这些污水，他们都没有进行一个处理，就随便的就排放了。
If the unorthodox recycling of plastic is left unchecked, Guangzhou runs the risk of turning into a toxic boomtown. To combat the problem, engineers at MBA Polymer designed additional features into their recycling plant. Their mission: to ensure that the process is eco-friendly.
在这个塑料分选的过程中，会产生比较多的粉尘，然后呢，我们公司是有专门的除尘器，把这些粉尘是吸附，然后收集，通过这些滤桶过滤。现在这边的一些出口呢，是我们公司的各种工序对这个不是目标塑料的一些其他成分。 然后这些塑料的话，因为我一般来说，我们就会卖给一些比较低端的一些客户来做他们一种应用。
Within barely 3 years of operation, the recycling plant is already processing more than 25,000 tons of waste plastic a year. Boasting green and sustainable waste disposal facilities, the plant also ensures that no harm is done to the environment in the process, providing Guangzhou with an extra boost in its mission to achieve sustainable development. But other waste problems threaten the future of this boomtown. In the city, hundreds of rivers crisscross the landscape, providing water to the locals for centuries. But now rapid urbanization has taken a toll on the waterways. making Guangzhou one of the world's most polluted cities. It would take a radical solution to ensure the city a regular supply of clean water before it drowns in toxic sludge. As the world becomes increasingly urbanized, a key challenge is providing clean water to the booming population. But in the future city of Asianopolis, the spectre of a water shortage has become an urban myth. Buried deep beneath the glittering skyline is a massive bioreactor that inhabitants call the pump. Like a living organ, the pump collects wastewater throughout the city and purifies it for consumption using a combination of microfiltration and bioprocessing. Situated nearly 100 meters underground, the facility does not infringe on the scarce land space of the dense urban scape. The pump is also modular, allowing city planners to expand or customize its shape and size according to the city's growth. But the incredible technology behind the pump was already devised as early as the 21st century, amid the clogged waterways of southern China. Guangzhou, the capital city of Guangdong province in southern China. Located along the Pearl River, hundreds of waterways cut across the face of the city. The abundance of water has allowed the port city to thrive, making it one of China's richest. But unchecked development has taken a toll on the city's natural resources.
当时河冲的状况，基本上你看河里就是黑的，垃圾啊，我们讲话菜叶子、菜帮子，就是河很臭。基本上你找河，你离着可能站路离着很远，你就能闻到味道了。
Faced with an impending water crisis, the Chinese authorities took action to turn the tide. They launched nearly 600 projects under the Water Environment Restoration Project to clean up the waterways. But traditional water treatment plants need space, a resource that is scarce and expensive in a built-up city like Guangzhou. United Envirotech Limited, a leading Singaporean water treatment company, took up the challenge. Their proposal, a state-of-the-art membrane bioreactor. The key component is the membrane, a microscopic filter shaped like a thread. Many membrane threads are assembled into a single filter screen that acts like a sieve to sift out microorganisms. In a membrane bioreactor, wastewater is first filtered to remove loose particles. The filtered water is then treated with active organisms to destroy harmful bacteria. Finally, the treated water is passed through a membrane filter to remove the residual organisms. A single membrane bioreactor can process the same amount of wastewater on a much reduced footprint. The engineers designed a membrane bioreactor to be built over an area of 1.8 hectares, making it the smallest water treatment plant in China. The facility has the capacity to process 100,000 cubic meters of water each day, enough to fill 40 Olympic-sized swimming pools. But the plan soon ground to a halt due to an unforeseen problem.
当然遇到了一个最大的问题呢，就是没有土地，咱们在这个地方呢是叫白云区，也实际上是一个城中村。这个老城区里人口密度非常的大，所以它就没有办法拿出足够大的一块地来建。
The location allocated for the membrane bioreactor sits at the heart of a residential area. The nearest apartment block is no more than 3 meters away from the proposed site. News of the facility sparked angry reactions from surrounding residents.
但周边你看，村民就不干了，闹起来了。村民当时说：“那你建污水厂，传统想象中，大池子臭水呼腾呼腾翻，受不了，老百姓闹，就当时就叫也不叫闹事，老百姓就不干了，人就抗议了。”
To solve the problem, engineers hit on a radical solution. They would build the membrane bioreactor 18 meters underground. The topside facility would also be landscaped to resemble a garden to ease the residents' concerns. Construction of the underground facility began following a green light from the Chinese authorities, but the challenge was far from over. To minimize inconvenience to the local residents, the team had to finish construction of the facility in less than a year.
全地下的污水厂要有20多万方的土，立方米的土要运出去。那么周边我们都看到了，道路很窄，又是居民区，那么你不能影响他的正常生活，所以呢，我们就是采用了高密度的，集中在白天把土运掉，晚上要给居民一个安静的休息的一个环境，所以呢，就把这个时间压迫得非常紧。
To compound the problem, the site's foundations comprise of loose sedimentary soil that can collapse easily.
那么最近的地方就是这道墙，外边跟这个建筑物之间只有3米，也就意味着我挖的时候，如果塌方，这个建筑物就倒掉了。
The most urgent task for the team was to reinforce the walls of the underground site, even as they drilled deeper into the earth. Concrete and steel rebars were carefully inserted to support the walls at every step of the process. The team's efforts paid off, and the construction progressed with no mishaps. They completed the water treatment plant within just 9 months. The Jingxi membrane bioreactor was successfully put into operation in September 2010. It is the largest underground membrane bioreactor in Asia. And the treated water is reintroduced to the surrounding rivers to clean up the waterways.
这种模式非常适合大城市，地很少。第二呢，你把它做到地下之后，对周边的环境没有影响。这种花园式的污水厂，既解决了对周围环境影响，又给周围提供了绿地。
所以骄傲，其实我觉得，就这个东西最后做成，不是光想的，我们最后把它做成了，我们觉得还是非常感觉自己还是做了点事情。
From a megacity threatened by pollution and overpopulation, Guangzhou has come back from the brink through green rejuvenation. With sustainable skyscrapers powered by the elements and cutting-edge waste treatment and recycling facilities, Guangzhou has set a new benchmark for cities of the future and assured its own rise as one of the leading boomtowns of Asia.